for August the 1st, 2024. We're in room number 2. I think we've got the roll call. Everybody has a set of minutes, our agenda, and we need to take the roll call, and the roll call's been taken, and everybody has signed in. We have one absent, which is Tina, and I'll go ahead and let you know that she won't be here because her uncle passed away. They just found him, and they're upset right now, whole family is, so keep them in our prayers. We have we're gonna move on to the approving of the agenda, but we have some modifications that need to be made. A couple of them is my fault probably, but that's okay. We'll get them fixed. We have to, on the approval of the minutes of previous meeting, we need to approve the April the 23rd minutes, because we did not do that in March, right?
May.
Because they were so close to the meeting times, it was like within a week. So we need to approve those. Those are in your packet, so we'll need to have those approved. The other items that need to be added to the agenda under new business will be adding site work, bid documents for the health department.
Is that under new business?
That'll be under new business. And also a report from Dave Kepka, from the Coffee County Grants Department, Writing Department, and he's gonna speak to us tonight on, that'll be D. If you wanna put that as a C and a D on the new business, that's what I'm gonna have it listed as. And Scott St. John is here to talk to us about the animal shelter, is that correct? And, well, we have that already on the list, so that's under old business, so we'll get that started. So, those are the adjustments we need to make on the agenda. So do we have an approval or a motion to approve the minutes?
I'd make a
for the
motion.
agenda?
I make a motion to do that.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Commissioner Hollingsworth, and you seconded it?
I did.
Okay. So, move on to approving the minutes, from the
Vote on the agenda.
Huh?
Vote on the agenda.
Yeah, excuse me, we need to vote on the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, I'm aye too, so all passed. So we need to go to approving the minutes. I want to go ahead and approve the ones for our last meeting first. Okay? Which is the 7-11 minutes. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. So we need a motion to approve the minutes from the 7-11 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion made to approve it
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Now we need to approve the minutes from April the 23rd meeting. We somehow, when I guess when I took chairman, we got to the next date, which was like the 2nd of the next month, and we didn't get those put in on our packet, so we want to get those approved. So we need to approve the minutes for the 23rd of April.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion to approve and seconded. Any question? Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. We got any public comments? No and no. John, you gonna speak? Because these two gentlemen are on there to talk. Okay, let's go into Then the new, old business, on the animal shelter, we have an update from Scott St. John, and also, I'll let you go ahead and update that, but, he has some stuff we wanna look at too to discuss with him, cause they are trying hard right now to get our bid documents completed. I know I talked to him and Aaron Brown, and they're looking for trying to get that done for the animal shelter by the end of the month. That's what I'm understanding, somewhere close to there. So we're getting closer. And I'm getting excited about that. So Scott, do you wanna go ahead and
Sure,
lead us?
sure. So while you're talking days, we had passed along to Terry and the mayor that we had set an internal deadline of August 23rd for 95% set, so that'll be a good, pretty much done check set for us to go through. However, we need to do that if we need to sit down with the mayor at the time or the committee, but 23rd is when we're looking for that set to come through. And right now, we've got an approved floor plan, so we are pushing on final design. Architectural, mechanical, plumbing, electrical design is in process, civil, structural, so all disciplines are working. The one thing that I had a question on today, and we talked a minute before the meeting, that we'll talk through it openly or publicly in the meeting here, but to get some direction from probably mainly the sheriff's department related to this force main routing to get back to the sewer line that's near the back of the existing jail. So to get you oriented, here's Highway 41, here's the animal shelter, here's the jail, wetland areas. The back volunteer court is on the back side here. The existing sewer comes up the back driveway of the jail. It comes in, it makes a turn, it comes up, and the last manhole is right in this area.
By the Sally Port?
Yes, and then it becomes a 6-inch service line that then comes and serves the building in multiple directions. So we've always talked about kind of hitting somewhere in here, whether we stay out of the wetland and the buffer, up, over, and in, or the other option that we need to kind of talk through today is coming down the property line of Tom Rice's, coming and hitting this manhole here. So early on, we had discussions with Mayor Matheny, generally about sewer coming in the backside, but we've never really laid that out, got formal easements, and to me, this is the better option here. We do have some wetland issues as we've kind of progressed in design, and we have been out looking at the areas. Jim Patterson from my office on the wetland. These wetlands don't just come and stop at the property line, so they have kind of crept out as the activity on the fan site has tapered off, and there's gravel on it completely, but the soils and the growth that has continued to kind of grow out from the property line is there. We think that we can step over about 20 feet and stay out of the bulk of the wetland area, trench and come and tie into the manhole from the backside and save driveway cuts or driveway bores and breaching the fence line and so forth to get in.
I don't like that way.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be.
I don't like that way.
Yes. So, previously, Mayor Matheny had good ties or strong ties and able to work with Tom Rice, and so do you want me to approach Tom? Do you want somebody from this committee or from the North County Mayor to work with me and approach him related to an easement for that force main to come and tie the
I'll be glad to go with whoever goes, because Tom, and I know Tom very well. That might help some,
Sure.
I believe, but,
And one of the positives, of course, course, is that no buildings can be built in that
Right.
section because of just the setbacks, and so
Mhm.
we would stay in it.
In the setback area.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 20 feet off the fence line?
Around
probably?
20, I mean, if he's good with 25, then that gets us even further out from what we think is a wetland strip
Right.
there.
That would be even better, maybe.
Yes,
So we want to approach him at 25 feet?
yes,
all right.
yes.
Um,
Terry, I think you'd be good to do that with your experience, and then you can
Yeah.
come straight back to the committee without having.
What size line are we talking? Are we talking about a 2 or a 3?
Two.
Okay. Are we gonna have that as a separate bid item? Do you know on that? I'm just asking that question because I know I wanna try, you know, of the cost.
So right now, it's in as a lump sum, so
Okay.
it's not broke out.
It's in the lump sum price.
Yes, but
Okay.
it could easily.
I mean,
be
it's
broke
gotta-
out, so.
Well, I was just thinking maybe if we wanted to sub that out and have that line brought to a pump station or something, however you wanna do that, but,
Yeah, of course, you know, we've got the grinder pump and
Okay.
the comminutor in to take care of
Mhm.
the fur and so forth, and so that's in, and then that force main that would just run down.
Okay.
So, yeah, right now it's just all lumped into the lump sum bid price.
This line, is this line pressurized?
Yes.
it will be
Yes.
pressurized.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a force main. Once you go to force main, it'll be a pressurized line forever.
You know, the things that could come up, I guess, is will Tom, you know, want that line upsized to serve something in the future up here, and those types of things that could come up.
I know some of his buildings he has in that area, they're all on septic
Septic,
systems. So you're absolutely right. It's always that possibility he might want to, I can talk to him about it and see, you know, tell him what the benefit is. But even a 2-inch force main, it would accept another couple,
It-
you know, quite a bit.
Yeah, with what he has coming in there,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cause most of them, those places are, one is a tractor trailer place and one's an electrical company, so they're putting off minimum.
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'd be glad to go.
okay,
Do you want to go?
yes, if maybe the two of us can
Yeah.
set time and just meet him out there and kind of talk through it, and
I'm good with that.
I'll draw that
You
line
wanna take a look
in.
at your schedule?
Sure.
Um,
Of course, I know Tom's in and out of town, and
Yeah.
so, maybe you touch base to see when he would be available.
Okay, you talk about next week?
Yes. the
I'd like to
sooner
get her,
better.
the sooner the better.
Yes.
So I'm good on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday right now.
Okay. I know I'm good Monday, middle of the day, I have 2 o'clock, I'm good Wednesday afternoon,
All right,
and I know I'm good Friday, but
Thursday's not a good day.
Thursday is probably not.
Yeah.
I've got some hit and
Yeah,
miss,
you do.
but,
Okay, let me see what I can work out with Tom,
okay,
and then I'll just give you a holler,
that'd be good.
and that way we can,
Good.
are you gonna try to put it down on
I
paper, on
am.
what we feel like we'd like to do?
Yes,
Because are y'all in agreement that's the way it needs to go? I mean, I think that's the way I would draw it. We can tell him the only other option is going the other way, but the cost is out of and he'll understand that, I believe.
just
that,
the impacts to the.
Yeah, the
general-
impact of that whole other area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's the main for the jail, right?
This is the main.
But that's coming out there.
Yeah.
is the-
So,
is the-
and then you've got the disruption of the facility.
We don't wanna go there.
Yeah.
I really don't wanna go there. If we can avoid it at all possible, we don't need to
I
go.
agree.
But again, in general, Aaron's working hard on architectural, where all the design team is working away, and so on that 23rd timeframe, yes, we're intending to get a good check set.
Cause we need to keep I want everybody to stay in the loop on that. If we need to, if they're talking about being done with it on the 23rd, that's a Friday, you think we can maybe review them on like a Monday, possibly? Like on the 26th, maybe? Cause we need to be moving forward to, and, you know, it might be something that we may just have to get together. Y'all, are you all good with maybe doing that as a, you know, I know it's not our scheduled time, but I don't wanna sit there and keep pushing this thing. We're kicking the can down the road, and I'm totally against that stuff.
I may be out of town that week,
The whole week?
yeah,
Okay.
the 26th,
What's that the week of?
the 26th.
And Terry, if we need to email PDFs, of course, we can do any of that, any options, but y'all may want, and we
We
can
could
put
do that.
a hard copy into everybody's hands.
I don't have
whatever.
access to
Will you-
email and stuff.
You do, you will. I think let's try to make that work for the 26th, and we probably have to do a PDF and send it out.
Okay, okay.
That way, everybody have a chance to pull it up and look at it. Are you gonna send it to the county? That's
Yes,
what I would do.
Yes, and I've been sending everything to Stephanie,
Yeah.
from purchasing as well
Yeah.
as the mayor,
Okay.
yes. Okay.
Everybody good with that?
The 26th?
Yeah, let's try to review it and look at it on that Monday, the 26th. And if we can do maybe a short meeting, just, you know, for whoever can be here, if it's just us 3 or 4 maybe, let's, you know, we could do it in the afternoon. What time is the best for you guys? I know 4 o'clock is not ideal for you.
I've got to work, but I'll try to take off work and just need to know when.
If we want to do it at 5, I'm okay with a 5.
That's, you know, later is better for me.
Tim, are you okay with a 5?
I'm okay with any time.
Let's,
I'm unemployed.
I'm gonna write it down as 5 o'clock, okay?
Unless I'm in Mexico or Hawaii. Or John's shirt.
So it's gonna be a brief meeting here and then go.
And that's only gonna be, the only thing that'll be on
Okay.
on the table,
All right.
period. $5. Okay, we're gonna work toward that, Scott,
Okay, thank you.
and I will let you know about, what time Tom can meet on Monday.
Okay.
Are you better in the afternoon on Monday?
No, I've got a 2 o'clock, it's gonna
Okay.
last till 5 o'clock.
You're better in the morning?
So, morning, midday, just anything
got it
before
made.
2 o'clock works for me.
Got it made.
I will call Tom tonight when I leave here.
Thank you.
Okay? Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the health department status, and I will tell you that it's moving along, and then we're actually, meeting with the state, group here very soon. The bid documents, we need to discuss them real quick, because that's gonna be on, in the new business down below. But they have, completed the bid documents, and we have to approve those tonight under new business, okay? So that's the status of the health department. We discussed, courthouse on the square, the fountain. Do you know anything what they're doing yet on that? You have an update on it yet?
This is what I had on. Several members of the Historical Society had asked about the fountain. I mean, they'd
Yeah, I
asked
talked
about
to
it.
her about it.
I went up there and
What?
looked at it, and they're wanting something, kind of what they're getting at. It kind of ties in with the lighting that we talked about before. There's like tours and stuff, and actually I went on a couple of them, and they're having them in Murfreesboro, Franklin, Pulaski. They do like historical tours, and actually these people that are putting these tours on are doing really good. They're like bringing in people that have moved in from other towns. They kind of want to know the history, and a lot of people think our courthouse is really unique. It's pretty neat. And they're bringing tours in, and they're bringing folks in and meeting on the square. And some of these, the one I was on had 50 people on it. And they tour the square, they get historical things, they talk about certain buildings, and kind of how they're doing it in other communities. They're putting, blue, red lights up on the courthouse, and their fountain has lights in it, and they have a pretty nice fountain, going. It's just something to draw these tours and stuff to town, and these folks are coming in, and they're staying the night, and it kind of ties in with tourism, and
Yep.
they're eating out. So, you know, it could be a good draw for our square. We've always talked about
Yep.
getting something going on the square. We got a real neat courthouse. I think we are, for a little bit of money with some lights, maybe a new fountain design, we could show it off,
Yeah.
you know, and have something good for the community and let other people, you know, come in and tour and see it. You guys ought to go check them out. They're online tours.
So are you talking about totally redoing the fountain?
No, I'm just talking about
Cause I know
maybe,
Rick said at the last meeting that one of the problems is the shape of the fountain kinda limits to that fountainhead.
Yeah,
'Cause
which
if it
I
gets-
ordered after, last week or two, I ordered some different fountain heads to try,
Okay.
because they're not very
Yeah.
expensive.
Okay,
But,
if you,
I mean, like, we can't do anything very tall or very extravagant,
'Cause
because the
it-
fountain's so small, the water splashes out, and
Right.
you have to go up there every couple of days and fill it
yeah,
up.
but kind of the way it is now, it looks kind of like a water pipe spraying up.
Yeah.
If we could, you know, just check into something, maybe a different kind of spray system or something, and maybe if we looked at putting some lights up on the courthouse, the lights in the capula, I don't know if y'all noticed or not, that looks really good. If we could just get something up on that to kind of showcase, it just makes the tours and, you know, just kind of shows it off a little bit. And with a minimum amount of money, maybe, you know?
Could you put a fountain inside the fountain? Like a statue in there that the water runs up through and just pours over the top?
I mean, I don't know. I
Instead
mean,
of spraying up, then you wouldn't have the,
it would still just be like, I mean, it's just very small, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's out there, to be honest with you. I mean, we've just had that. We've tried different homemade fountain heads, and they just none of them have really worked out. So I did buy some that are like
And I actually
actual
I
fountain
talked to
heads.
one of the ladies with the tours, and she said you know, we got a Civil War cemetery right across the street over there, and she says that Manchester would be an excellent place to do this at, but it needs a little bit of cosmetic
It does.
help to do it. And I mean, it's just think something we could look at, you know, maybe to help dress the courthouse up a little bit, you know?
We discussed it at our last meeting, and that's why it's in the old business, so I wanna make sure we stay on top of it. Just keep us updated on it, let us know what's going on with it. See what
Hey,
we can
when
find
you
out.
did the checking on the lights, what have you
I
come up
still
with?
I haven't come up with a company that has a light bright enough to shine up to the height of that building.
All right.
But everything I did was more of like just singular lights that you can buy that were,
The
I
ones.
want to say, reasonably priced.
Yeah, the ones that Pulaski have, they're like little square boxes, and they're ground level, and of course they got slides on them, and I think maybe you talked about like, you know, they like different, like around Christmas time, you could have
Yeah.
a different color, you know.
Yeah. So I went up and visited the one up in Murfreesboro, the courthouse up there, and I took pictures of all their lights. Theirs is more of a system, very integrated, a little more, you know, expensive, and so I was just trying to find something a little more cost effective, like what we talked about. But all the companies I talked to, they said the height of the building, like their lights wouldn't like you would only get a quarter of the way up the building or halfway up the building. So, I mean, I just need to find somebody that would.
If we could just get up to the brick,
Yeah.
if we could just get up to the brick where the gutters are, would be
Yeah.
pretty good, you know, because our little light that you have up top, I mean, that helps it out a lot.
Yeah, it does. All right, keep us updated on those items. Do we have any information anymore on the sound, I haven't got anything else on the sound equipment. She's still working on putting out that sound equipment for the meeting hall. I've talked to Stephanie, and she's just about ready to get that sent out for a bid. You got an update on what you got on this?
Oh,
Justice
the
Center?
office for we removed the 3 doors that we discussed.
Mhm.
We got them removed, got all framed up. Sheetrock is what we're working on now. The other door, we got it cut out. It was in a block wall. We got it cut out. We were able to use one of the existing frames that we took out to put in there, and we got it all in and set. And now we're just doing sheetrock work and paint, and then we'll have to shampoo carpet.
Was that door, is that the EMA door that you're talking about?
Mm-mm.
I saw a video of the EMA door going up. That looked pretty good.
Yeah. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but there was an issue with that. But if we're talking about the space for probation that they asked for, there were some issues with some of the doors leading to some inmate areas, and so we're trying to block those off. So we had to remove three doors that go into the office, and then we put in a new door that leads into there from a more secure location, I guess you'd say.
All right, thank you on that. Let's move on to new business, and we're going to let you while you're talking, we'll go ahead and let you do your report.
So I just got a few updates on some projects. We do have the EMA door. We need to get the door in. Small issue with the ramp. They didn't form the ramp out quite as far as we had set up, what we had planned, and so right now the ramp is too steep. But they're going to come back tomorrow, I think, and try to fix that. But yes, they do have the door in. They were able to get all their trailers inside, but small issue with the ramp. But other than that,
Okay.
the door turned out really good,
Good.
and it's all in and working good. So, the other one I have is the ambulance station. I know this has been a long time coming. It was actually a capital project that got approved for last year, but we started it in June. Finally got started back in June, and we're pretty much done. All we have left to do is just a few.
Manchester's?
Yeah,
Okay.
Manchester's ambulance station remodel. We just got just a few little small items that we have to clean up and then just move them back in. But other than that, everything's done.
Good.
We talked about the probation office, annex door. And
About
that's
it?
all. That's all I have for right now.
Have you got anything to report on the camera system?
Had one
New?
more company come in. It was actually the current company that does our maintenance on the cameras. So far, I've had 4 companies come in, and prices range anywhere from around 200,000 up to 600,000.
Okay, we're gonna wind up having to put that out to bid, ain't we?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
it'll have to.
Man,
go
that's a
bid.
lot of leeway, between 200 and
I know it is, but yes, that's the range I've got. I've had 4 companies come in, and they range anywhere from 200,000.
Is it like a quality thing from the 2 to the 6?
It is. I mean, it's buying a Chevy or a Ferrari. I mean, it's you know, some one that's a little cheaper. They are not integrating. They've not said anything about their ability to integrate into the system, how it's currently done. So that's going to be a cause for issue.
Will some of the more expensive ones eliminate personnel having to be there?
No, it doesn't. None of this will eliminate personnel because you still have to watch them cameras. Some of it is the workload that they're anticipating with the integration. And then some are wanting to replace every camera. And then I've got some that I have kind of voice that I do like. They're wanting to come in. They've come in and done a site visit, but they're wanting to come in and do a little more thorough by looking at each individual camera and get with somebody and say, hey, is this camera okay? Yeah. Okay. It doesn't really need to be upgraded because it's just looking down the hallway, for instance. It's fine. It's fine for doing what it's doing. This one, it's a pan tilt zoom on the outside. The lens is already corroded. You can't see anything. That needs to be replaced. Okay, instead of doing a pan tilt zoom, they have newer cameras now that are called multi-sensor cameras that literally are multiple cameras inside of one camera body, to where how a pan tilt zoom traditionally, when it zooms across a field, it gets only what it looks at. Well, these multi-sensors are basically like 4 cameras in one that literally look out at a panoramic view that it gets all of the view all of the time. Instead of while it pans over here, something happens over here and you don't see it. So, but yeah, there's several more out there. I figured that gave me a pretty good idea of what the price variance will be. So,
Well, we're gonna have to have, that, we gotta know that information, so when we do send it on to Budget and Finance, that they'll know,
sure.
what we're looking at. be ready for it. All right, good, thank you. On new business also, we need to, Dave, you want to go ahead and give us yours? I'm just go ahead and let Dave do his first, then we'll talk about the site work on the documents.
I appreciate you getting me on the agenda.
You want to say?
We got another chair. Does everybody know who Dave is?
I'm Dave Kapka with the grants. I was hired a little less than a year ago. And I had actually the Senior Center as well as the Historical Society contact me within the last couple weeks about some grant opportunities. We'll start with the Senior Center, just because there's no match there, but because it is a county building, my understanding is we need to go to capital outlay because, again, county building. They're looking at remodeling bathrooms. It is a grant through the Disability and Aging Grant, which is up to $100,000. Rick and I will tag team on this as far as what exactly this looks like. It's just basically remodeling the bathrooms, and Rick, if you want to kind of go.
Yeah, so probably what we're trying to do is what's in there now, they've put in some extra walls kind of blocking some of the space that we would typically need for wheelchair access. And then the stalls that are in there now, they don't have an actual wheelchair accessible stall. So we'd be taking out some walls and adding some space to put in at least one wheelchair accessible stall. And then with that, also we'd be tearing out the floor, redoing the walls, redoing all the plumbing that's accessible from behind the walls. Just basically a full update in the bathroom. But the main thing is we're trying to get some wheelchair accessible stalls in there.
Yeah,
Because
we
right
need
now
that.
they don't have anything that's wheelchair accessible.
So you only talking about one bathroom or both
Two
bathrooms?
men
Okay,
and one,
yeah.
men and
Thank
women's, yeah.
The way I picked that up was one bathroom. We can't just do one bathroom.
Yeah, no, it would
No.
be, we would be doing both bathrooms.
Okay.
And, based on what the money that we got from the grant would kind of determine how far the upgrade would go. But I think the main focus would be the wheelchair accessible stalls.
Yeah.
And then on top of, from there, we would grow into trying to redo the flooring into a more, right now they have the old, 1960s subway tile, restaurant, kitchen tile.
So
Yeah.
that tile's missing. and
Yeah, it's broken, missing, it's just, it's very dated, so we would try to use that money to upgrade all that stuff.
Is that through the ADA group? Is that who you're going with?
No, it's through the Disability and Aging
Yeah.
Grant, Senior Center,
Mhm.
and it's, I don't believe ADA compliant at this point, is it?
No.
I'm sure
No.
it was probably grandfathered in from,
So-
whatever.
Yeah, and again, this is a
On
grant
the roast
that
days.
we would have to write for, and it's not to
Right.
say we're gonna get the grant.
Right.
And again, with me just getting the information, it's due August 9th. I don't even know if we can get it written by then. We had a gentleman come out from Sane Construction yesterday to try to get a quote, so I at least got some numbers so I can get the grant written.
Okay.
I'm waiting for information from the Senior Center as far as, so we can get that narrative written and actually submit it.
Good.
So, again, because it is a county building, I felt we needed to go through y'all to let you know what plans are with that one. The other was through the Historical Society. Same time frame. They came into me about 2 weeks ago wanting to do some, what they call rehabilitating the courthouse. And that's a little bit more extensive. There are 2 grants they're looking at. The main one is the Historic Preservation Grant. We met with the Historical Commission from Tennessee, the Tennessee Commission, I guess. They came in, they talked to us, and our understanding through them is there are very few courthouses left in the state of Tennessee because of the Civil War. Most of them were burnt down. So he felt that we do have a decent chance at receiving some funds through this particular grant. Due date August 30th. Again, we're behind the 8 ball already.
Right.
Is it a matching?
Now, there is a matching. It is a 10%. It's up to $250,000 for the grant itself, so it could be up to $25,000. what we're looking at here, because of the cost of getting it back to historical times of the 1870s, pulling off paneling, and I'll let Rick go through in some major details, but basically some paneling and some flooring. So Rick, if you wanna.
Yeah, this one is a little bit more expensive just because we do have to kind of preserve the time frame that it was built. What we're looking at doing is basically when you walk in the front door, is the main floor hallway, is to bring that back to its original look. Tearing all the paneling out, tearing the ceilings out. We'd be putting in like plaster walls, that kind of, that's what they had back then. As far as the ceiling goes, we're allowed to kind of adapt to the times. So we would probably still put another drop ceiling in, but just update the lighting with, they want to do, lights that would kind of go with their museum feel. So they'll have, different articles on the wall, and then they had, museum lights shining down on, the different displays or display cases. So there'd be like some upgrades in that area. And then in the floor, we've done a little bit of investigating on kind of like what the floor was back then, and we found some areas where the flooring was in. So it'd basically be tearing all the floors out and then putting back the floors, kind of the old wood floors, slats. That would be kind of what was in that time frame.
I think they were like tongue and groove floors, wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm, probably.
It was two and a half inch wooden slats, basically is what it was. Now somebody had painted over what we had found, so it's I couldn't tell you like what type of wood it was or anything like that, but I think that's probably the biggest hurdle for us, is to write the grant, to get bids. I mean, it's a very difficult thing to know what they used back then without pictures. So they're investigating. The historical side is kind of investigating, trying to find maybe some pictures or colors or things that they have documentation of to try to bring it back in. But basically, the grant is to update, the building and try to get it back to the original look. We kind of what their envision is. We met with them. Their envision is to basically make the first floor part of the museum. So when you walk in the front door, it feels like a museum all the way back until they have an existing, museum that has a couple rooms.
Mm-hmm.
It's to basically make that one uniform museum look. Going up the staircase, it has paneling, so we kind of talked about it if we could, and if it was in the budget, to make it look, maybe not completely tear it out the paneling, but to make it look by, I just suggested, make floating sheetrock plaster on the paneling, to make it look in color, paint it the same color to make it look like, what the first floor is. But all that would just kind of be as far as how much the grant was for and budget-wise what we could get, how much we could get done. But their overall goal is to make the first floor basically like a museum. When you walk in the front door, brighten it up with some new lights, museum lights, put their displays on the wall, and have everything back to the, what maybe made it look like back,
The library room where they keep all the books and stuff. Are you talking about putting it into it too, or keeping it the way it is?
The side rooms would be they would stay the same. The only rooms that would be for this grant, the only thing would be the main hallway.
Okay.
Now there's another grant he's going to talk about where it's for just the museum itself, kind of a different grant. We would make some upgrades to what their museum is now. They have a couple of rooms that what is the museum now. We'll be making some upgrades to that, which we can talk about that one later. But this one is just for the main hall.
Okay.
Yeah, with this particular grant itself, it had some stipulations as to what can be done. You couldn't do any kind of lighting with this grant and so forth. So we felt the best use of this grant would be, let's get this hallway done and just kind of do an increment steps of the entire building down the road. Let's start with the hallway with this grant. Another grant that also is due at the end of the month of August is the State Museum grant. That's $100,000, but there's no match. With that, we can do capital improvements, maintenance, talking about doing some bathroom renovations. You can do lighting with that particular grant. So.
So you've got a
again,
total of 3 that you're gonna be putting in for?
Correct.
Are these grants that's coming up, are they reoccurring grants that they keep popping up, or is it just,
I believe so. Now, again, I just got these within the last 2 weeks, so I haven't delved into the reoccurrence as far if they're, on cycles, and if, a lot of times when grants are awarded, if you're awarded the grant, they may say, okay, once you received it, you gotta wait 2 years before you can write for it again. I haven't, looked into that point right now. I'm just trying to find some contractors, get those bids, find out exactly what they want. Is it gonna meet the, requirements and guidelines of the grant itself? Because, they wanted the lighting up front. Well, we found out, hey, you can't do it with this grant, but we can do it with this other grant. Then the commission, at the state level, historical commission said, well, wait until December, January, new grant comes out that's different than these two, that'll have other funds that can be done or be used for these other things. So those kind of things we're just trying to figure out. But to answer that, they may be something we could write each year until we can get the entire building. And then, Jimmy, you talked about the exterior, We could research with this, State Museum grant, cause we had talked about, Rick, with, the Historical Society. The fountain even came up and some lighting issues on the outer. We could research that. Is that something they wanna do? But I know a biggie with the museum grant was the lighting and the bathrooms, cause I guess the bathrooms have some major issues. But again, there's grants out there.
So we may be able to see about them coming the first of the year?
Yes.
You know what you're talking about?
Yes, they're gonna come back.
Kinda like
The
that.
commission is gonna come back with another grant. They're gonna let us know when it opens up
Okay.
and then give us more details on how those funds can be utilized.
All right. So we're gonna have to have a motion to approve these 3 grants to allow Dave to go ahead and get those applied for.
Make a motion to proceed with the application of the grants.
I'll second his motion.
Motion been made, any discussion?
So I'm just gonna bring up on the one that has the match, that would need to probably go to budget.
Yeah, I'll have to go through
Cause
budget and
if
finance.
he applies for it, it's
I
gonna
know-
be up to 20, it
I
could
know
be up to
traditionally
20.
how we do it is,
$25,000.
get the permission to apply, and then if we get it, then go to budget and finance
Yeah.
for if there's any kind of a match or anything.
But we wanna give you the
'Cause I believe
permission to
we
get on
have
with
to,
it.
I believe the county has to pay upfront for the money and
Yeah,
then
it's
they
a
get
reimbursement
reimbursed.
grant. It is a
So
reimbursement grant.
That's just something to be
Yeah.
aware of.
Well, we got a motion made and seconded and discussion, any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Our next thing,
I
new
appreciate
business.
y'all.
Thank you, David,
Thank
for
you.
coming. Next business is the site work documents and bid documents for the health department. We have to approve those. And we have them here if you wanna see them. I have looked over them with the mayor and I'm ready for this to get proceeding.
This is for the,
This is really a formality for us, but we have to have that documented that we have approved it, the site. Ain't that right, Scott?
Yes, so again, I've submitted these to Stephanie and
Right.
she's working from the ARP standpoint
Right.
to get an approval and, I have tweaked those plans a little bit. I've put together a clear scope of work for phase one. outlining it.
You wanna show that to them real quick?
Sure. So I'm gonna get you.
I have an advantage, I got to see it before they did.
This is kind of our full index of all the plan sheets in the set. But in what I have included here is the civil package that on this phase one will pretty much be site work. I've laid out a scope of work for the phase one that details exactly what the contractor is to do and not do, but they are to, of course, do all of the grading drainage, do all of the pad prep, They're to cap the pad with 3 inches of crusher run at phase 1. Terry, you may have any thoughts. We're going to get the drives, parking areas graded and based. And it is not curb work,
Mhm.
being a phase 2. We are, of course, detention all of the topsoil backfill to within 3 feet of curb.
Okay,
So they'll stop there and then curb will be set in phase 2. They'll trim out with topsoil in phase 2, do islands in phase
Yeah.
2. All of the site utilities will be done in phase 1 to within 5 feet of face of building.
Okay.
So all that's called out in that scope of work, erosion control, material testing, all of the items that have to be done as a part of site work.
Right. So everybody understand what we're doing, why we're calling it phase 1 and 2? Because we want to get the site work done before winter hits. That way, then let the phase 2 go as she may fall. Because the site work people need to be on it now. I wish we were a month ahead of this, but we are where we're at. Well, thank you, Scott, for coming in and talking about that.
I have not heard an update from Stephanie on her upload submittal to the ARP. I'm concerned on that,
Yeah.
of course, because I hate for that to be slowing things down.
I do too. But we have got to make a motion to approve the site drawings and the bid documents so they can move on once that is taken care of, for them to be able to get on with putting it out to bid. Because it's gotta go through a bid process too. So we'll have to have a motion to do that.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Hallsworth and Commissioner Tim Brown is seconded. Any discussion? Any more? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion approved. Need to set date for our next meeting is, well, we know that we're not counting the 26th, but our next meeting will be on the Thursday, the 5th of September at 4 o'clock. Everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
Have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion been made and moved. All in favor say aye.
Second.
John, how was that concert at the, It was very good.